According to a source, the Los Angeles Lakers have targeted Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott in a trade that would involve Russell Westbrook, wrote LJ Ellis of Spurs Talk. However, talks haven't gained traction because the Lakers are only willing to relinquish a pair of second-round picks in return for both players. If the Spurs do land Westbrook in a trade, the source says the Spurs would buy out his contract and allow him to become a free agent, Ellis also wrote. So it looks like the Lakers are at least in conversations now with the San Antonio Spurs for Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott. Now, personally, I think that this would be a great move, especially if you could do it for a pair of second-round picks. Realistically, they're probably going to have to give up a first. Now, I don't think the Lakers want to give up a first for these two, which I don't think they impact enough. Doug McDermott would be a great three-point shooter, right? Josh Richardson, great 3-and-D guy. Both of these guys come in and make an impact. I do believe that. But the way that Russell Westbrook is playing right now, I don't think that these two guys would make that much more of an impact than Russell Westbrook is currently doing off the bench, right? Now, it could help allow multiple players, right? Because Josh Richardson he's a guy that can start. He's a starting level player. Doug McDermott is a shooter. We definitely need shooters. You have Matt Ryan and Doug McDermott, that would be a great spot to be in, right? But then the problem is if you get Doug McDermott and Josh Richardson for just Russell Westbrook, who are you waiving? So are you getting rid of, Winning Gabriel? Because the only guys that you can unload, you can trade, waive, are Winning Gabriel, Austin Reeves, and Matt Ryan. That is it. And you're not getting rid of Austin Reeves. And right now, you need Matt Ryan. So Winning Gabriel's the odd man out. Where personally, I would try to work out a deal for more than just these two, especially if you're going to have to relinquish a first. Now, this seems to be the beginning of the negotiation, right? So you're never going to throw out your best offer, right? You're never going to go out there and be like, yeah, we'll give you Russell Westbrook and 2 first-round picks for Josh Richardson and Doug McDermott. No, you're not going to do that. Starts with 2 first. You work your way up. We want a first. No, we don't want to give you a first, but hey, maybe if you give us, a Yaka Portal, then all of a sudden, maybe we'll give you a first, or maybe we'll give you a pick swap, and then you start, trying to get several guys, because the Lakers need several players. If you're going to trade Russell Westbrook, you need to get 3 or 4 players in a deal. You got to. Because the Lakers need essentially a roster rehaul at this point. Because you have so many guys that are playing roles that they aren't supposed to be playing, right? Like Walker's been great for the Lakers. He's guarding the best player on the other team. He's giving us 15 a night on average, or 16.5 if we're being fair. Like that's what he's averaging, right? But he's not supposed to be our 3rd best player, right? He's supposed to be our 5th or 6th best player. He's a guy that comes in, if he does start, great. If he gives you 15, great. If he doesn't, not a big deal. If he comes off the bench, gives you 15, great. If he doesn't, not a big deal. But right now, it is a big deal, right? And we need to start getting some starting level, not star players necessarily, but starting level players that could really help. And you need to keep a first-round pick. Because ideally, in a perfect world, right, you would get these two for, say, Russell Westbrook. You'd also get a $21 million trade exception, which is why I think, because some people might be looking at this and going, well, why wouldn't you get Yaka Portal, right? Because Yaka Portal, he's a guy that could be center. You move Anthony Davis to the 4, like that would be perfect. Well, I think, this is just my thoughts, but you get a $21 million trade exception, and then they take that trade exception and they go to the Pacers and they try to work out a deal there. And with that other first. So you give up 1 first. So you end up with like Miles Turner, Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott. Ideally, in my opinion, I would rather them do the Spurs deal with Yaka Portal. And when you get him, you'd still get about a $14 million trade exception. And if you get a $14 million trade exception, you can use that trade exception to go get another guy. Maybe you could go get a Jay Crowder, right? Because Phoenix wants to unload him. Well, you tell Phoenix, hey, you're not getting any trades, you're not getting any deals from. We're not going to give you any assets, but we'll give you like a 2nd-round pick, and we'll give you, a trade exception that you can use that may be more valuable to other teams. Now you just got 4 guys, right? That's what the Lakers need. The Lakers need 3 or 4 guys. If you could get these 3 for just 1 first and maybe 2 seconds and still have a 1st-round pick, I'd also love to see the Lakers take like a Beverly and Kendrick Nunn take that other first and try to go get another mid-tier guy, right? Maybe you could take those two in a first and just go get Buddy Hield. Imagine if the Lakers could get Buddy Hield, Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and Jakob Poeltl. Right now you got 3-4 guys that can shoot 40% from three. And you got a center so Anthony Davis can play. So now you can legit put some shooters around the Lakers. The Lakers already have a top 5 defense. That's only going to get better with these kind of guys. I don't know. It gives the Lakers options to explore. And again, this is just the beginning stages. I imagine that you're going to hear this and then, next couple days it'll be okay, well, the Lakers are willing to give one first now, right? And they'll get Yaka. Which I would be okay with. I think this deal and the Hornets deal are the two best deals currently just because of what the Lakers need. The Lakers need several guys. They need guys that can come in and be starting level players, right? If you get Josh Richardson and you get Jakob Poeltl, right? Those are two guys that can come in that can be your starters. So now you have, say, Dennis Schroeder, or just say LeBron plays point, right? You got LeBron, you got Richardson, you got, Walker, you got Davis, and you got Poeltl, right? Okay, cool. Now you got those 5. Now guys like, Austin Reeves doesn't have to start. Schroeder can come off the bench and be your 6th man, right? So a lot of these guys can now regulate to their regular roles of being 7th, 8th, 9th options rather than 1st, 2nd, 3rd options. Because right now we're counting on guys like Walker to be our 3rd best player when he's supposed to be our 5th or 6th best player. And we're counting on Troy Brown to be our 4th best player. And Troy Brown is he's a 6th, 7th best player. At worst, at best, he's supposed to be, a 5th best player. But we need him to be our 3rd or 4th guy, right? And that's the problem that the Lakers have right now, is they have a lot of guys that aren't starting level, carry the load, be those night in, night out role type players. They're just not. A lot of them are just, they're not old enough yet, like Walker and Troy Brown. I believe that they could develop into those roles from what I've seen with them, but they're kids. They're 23 years old, they need time to learn and get in the feel of that role. Josh Richardson, he's 28, 29. So he's a guy that has been there. He started on teams. He's came off the bench on teams. He's a guy that's gone and given you 30, on a regular basis. He has stats that show okay, he could be a contributor. Doug McDermott, guy that could shoot the 3 ball. I'm actually not as high on McDermott as other people are. I would rather have Josh Richardson and Jakob Poeltl than go and have that, $23 million whatever trade exception. I'd rather go that route. Give me a bigger trade exception because you could also use that to get multiple guys. So why not try to get another 2 or 3 guys? But I wouldn't mind it. If we got McDermott, I would be for it. I wouldn't be oh man, I can't believe they went and got Doug McDermott. No, I'd be all for it. Okay, cool. Got a 3-point shooter, add to Matt Ryan. Problem is who do you give up, right? They would have to unload guys. They have to do a deal properly because if they do these 3, right, then I think you have to go and trade Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley for one guy. So then you don't have to waive everybody, right? You don't have to get rid of everybody. They gotta figure out moves to keep the main guys that they need because they do have a lot of talented guys on this team. Again, it's just a lot of guys playing roles that they're not supposed to be playing. And that's where the issue, I think, lies. But I don't know. I'm not against this deal at all. I still don't think the Lakers are probably going to make a trade until December because December 14th is when a lot of things start opening up. And even for the Lakers, right? And in December, Lakers can trade Patrick Beverley in an aggregated deal. Right now, you can only trade Patrick Beverley individually, right? But you could also trade, a Damian Jones, guys like that, some of these smaller salaries just to unload them to free up roster spots and stuff like that. Those all become available and those become popular. So I think right now the Lakers are going to spend the next, week or two trying to work out and hash out deals. That'll take us into December time. And then that's when they'll kind of try to start finalizing everything, unless they can just get a really good deal. If you could get all 3 of these guys for a pick swap and 2 seconds, then yeah, I think the Lakers pull the trigger on this deal and they figure it out. But, if it's going to demand a 1st round pick or multiple 1st round picks, I think the Lakers might end up trying to negotiate other deals. But this is a good sign. At least the Lakers are trying to do something, because we're 2-7, and it's very likely we might be 2-8 at the end of the night tonight. So that could be a problem too. But I don't know. Hopefully we get a deal done sooner rather than later. I just think December 14th is when things start freeing up. And I think that that's when also other teams will be in the same boat. Their players start freeing up, so things will be a lot easier to get swaps and deals and picks and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. Just look forward to that. Don't get too high hopes that like a deal's going to get done tomorrow, but hopefully at least they're having the conversation. At least we're in the initial stages of the Spurs and Lakers deal. Hopefully they can figure it out. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Oh, one last little note is this came from a Spurs source. So I know a lot of people are going to say like, oh, the Spurs, because I see it all the time. People are like, the Spurs are never going to deal with the Lakers. The Lakers are never going to be able to trade with the Spurs. The Spurs won't help them. Well, yet Spurs sources keep repeating over and over again that the Spurs are willing to trade with the Lakers. I understand Pop said 8 years ago, that he would never trade with the Lakers. I get that, but that was 8 years ago. Times have changed. The Spurs have changed. Pop's in a different position he was back then. It's easy to say that when you have Tim Duncan, Monty Ginobili, Tony Parker, and you're winning championships. It's easier to say like, oh, I'd never trade with the Lakers than when you're a tanking team trying to tank for Wembanyama and trying to rebuild. They'll trade with the Lakers if the Lakers are the best deal on the table. Just something to keep in mind. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.